Good morning. I hope you have enjoyed the service thus far. I want to continue to talk about these celebrations, these holidays, Hanukkah, Yule, winter solstice, and Christmas. Hanukkah, winter solstice, Yule, and Christmas. These are all very similar traditions. They're all shaped by a specific culture. All of these sacred days are similar because they are the result of religious syncretism, the blending or mixing of religious ideas as cultures interact and trade and war and engage in cross-cultural relationships. Hanukkah, as Reverend Anastasia mentioned, is a minor Jewish holiday or celebration. But like most festivals and holidays during this time, the ancients all over the globe held many traditions annually, worshiping nature and the cosmos, namely the sun, the moon, the earth, and stars. Each culture had its own similar and differing way to pay homage to their gods. As I've been saying in several of my most recent sermons, the original religions on the planet were earth-based. But what I didn't say is that they are also astrologically based. That is, they consisted of cosmic veneration of the stars. Think about the three wise men following the star. And I can imagine the ancients would look up and see these shining things in the sky and marvel at them and say, "What wondrous work is this, oh my soul?" And these marvels gave them pause. They stopped and stared and created narratives and celebrations to explain these extraordinary things. They were not distracted by television, Netflix and social media. They were instead looking outward and applying the lessons inward. That was their entertainment. And they figured out so much from being present and still with the earth and stars. An article that I looked up on the website, Second Nexus News, sort of agrees with me. The writer there says, quote, "Many believe that Hanukkah's origins are rooted in pagan celebration. Jews may have been capturing a pagan solstice festival that had won wide support, and in order to make it a day of God's victory over paganism, they modified their own celebration." The writer says, quote, "Even the lighting of candles for Hanukkah fits the context of the surrounding torchlight honors for the sun," end quote. We also know that the Egyptians worshipped sun gods, and the Greeks venerated Zeus, who was also a sun god. So it is possible that the ancient Israelites were pushing back against the establishment with their tradition of Hanukkah. I am sure some will dispute me on this. But this is where solstice comes in. Now you can see in the word solstice, the word the letters S-O-L, or sun, soul, sun in the word. In fact, we go to church on Sun Day, S-U-N. Wikipedia defines solstice as, quote, "a word derived from the Latin sol for sun and sistere or sistere, to stand still, because at the solstices, the sun's declination appears to stand still. That is, the seasonal movement of the sun's daily path, as seen from the earth, pauses at a northern or southern limit before reversing direction," end quote. So for us here in the Northern Hemisphere, this means that about December 21, 22 each year, we experience the darkest night of the year, based on the Earth's movement around the sun, followed by a progressive movement back toward daylight as we head toward the summer solstice. Yuletide, Yule celebrations were held in old Germany that were similar. Now, during this time in old Germany, in December, the Nordic people, they would revel in this time with some drinking and lighting candles and building big fires, eating, exchanging presents, playing games, and more. For them, their gods were being primed to bless them for the winter hunt. And today, in places like Norway, this old tradition has mostly been absorbed by Christianity, which happened, by the way, in the 900s of the Common Era, replaced by Christmas. But it is the darkness and the light that tells the story. Humans, for a long time, have revered both contrasts. And although the word darkness has way too much negative connotation today, it did not many centuries ago. The dark was calm and cool. The dark represented rest and reflection, stillness. The dark was essential for the light, as death is essential to life. The dark, as the soil, is where generation and fertilization took place and take place. It's where the seed is planted and grows up as a result of the sun. The dark is also where we grow as individuals, where we fertilize our new ideas, where many things come to us, memories that we hold so dear. And that's why I love, love, love the hymn, Dark of Winter. We're going to sing it today. And I want you to listen to the lyrics closely. The writer, Shelley Jackson, is revering and blessing the darkness. But how is this related to Christmas? Well, with the growth and expansion of the Roman Empire, of course, the Roman Catholic Church, many ancients, what they practiced was absorbed, syncretized into Christian dogma. So even today, those old ways of worshiping the earth and the sun and the stars, it's still here. Some do it in a direct way, but most in North America do it in a very indirect way. First, we know intuitively that we need the warmth of the sun, the rays of sunshine. The light illumines us inside and out. It gets us going again after being in the dark night of the soul. The sun is just as vital today as it was yesterday, bringing hope where there's despair. And to the ancients, the light, the illumination was the S-U-N, sun, that giant sphere. And the darkness was represented by the moon. That's the yin and the yang. That's the ebb and the flow. That's the expansion and contraction. Christianity is the Western Hemisphere's continuation of that ancient symbolism. Christmas, which means the Mass of Christ, is a celebration of the light, the external light of the S-U-N, sun, and the internal light of love that the baby Jesus, the Son of God, symbolically brought to the world. As I said, Hanukkah, Yule, Solstice, and Christmas are all celebrations of the same thing. The light will come again. Life goes on. There is hope and regeneration. Death leads to resurrection. So be resilient. There is enough light for you. Be patient. It, whatever it is, will come to you in due season if you faint not. So celebrate, open gifts, and make sacred this time. Stop and pause and be still and recognize the shift that's taking place all around you. Go outside, look in the heavens, and give thanks for the eternal knowing that love prevails and the external sunshine that enlivens us to all the possibilities. When you look at the candles, remember the light and the perseverance. When you decorate your tree, look at the lights, which are like looking at constellations and the billions of stars in the universe. When you sing Old Christmas Tree, Old Tannenbaum, remember that that is an old pagan hymn. And that's an interesting word, pagan. Pagan actually means country dweller. It's been used in a very negative way, but pagans are those religious or tribal groups who were the last to embrace Christianity as it spread. They eventually did because their survival depended on it. And on both sides, the pagans and the Christians both tried to ease this transition of this cultural integration by incorporating each group's similarities into one dominant tradition, Christianity. You know, I'm not blaming any particular faith, tradition, or culture. What I'm doing is embracing what humans do and have done over the centuries, mixing ideas and traditions together. The mistake is when we claim a time of year or tradition and say it's ours. Now that specific tradition may be ours, but not the time of the year, December 1, December 2, December 25. So I'm embracing that humans mix their ideas together, and it would really be nice if we learn to play together without dogma and domination. But alas, cultural wars are common even today. But this time of year is calling us to something else other than cultural warfare. And my point as I close is that one culture or religion does not own this time of year. If there are owners, it's the sun, the moon, the earth, the cosmos. And we owe these gods our respect and perhaps even adoration. Our ancestors understood this. Friends, I hope I have shown you this holiday season is a blending of traditions from all races and cultures on the planet. And that makes it beautiful to me. No matter how it all came together, the conquest and war, somehow the old story of the light and love, rest and reflection, it's still here, which means we are all still connected to the story, every human being on the planet. And even with our post-modern lifestyles, we are still connected to Mother Earth, to the sun, to the moon, to the stars, to the stories, which makes us all holy and majestic human beings. The song you're about to hear, Solstice, has some beautiful words. Sun and earth, day and night, sphere on sphere, dark and light. Solstice in our sense and sight. Solstice, we return to light. Once the twilight of the day, then the dawn of early morn. Snow melt fills a downward brook, sunlight in each trickling drop, quenching thirst of birds and deer. Sounds of life are everywhere. Seasons ever turning round, first the silence, then the sound. Wondrous miracles abound. Seeds of life both lost and found. Sun and earth, day and night, sphere on sphere, dark and light, solstice in our sense and sight, solstice, we return to light, solstice. May it be so. Amen.